Hi, so in this video we are going to work on the second page to the You Are Unique spread in my Halloween art journal. I started out by using the Ecoline markers, but I didn't like the way that they were absorbing quickly into the paper. You can see it here in this video. They just soaked right up and they weren't moving around. So I decided to gesso my pages and come back and use some acrylics. So I just put a clear gesso spread all over it and let it dry. I then used some golden fluid acrylics in manganese blue, Hansa yellow, and Naphtalo red. I also used a Ceramcoat in the color Gecko. And I'm going to use those to put down my base colors. This red is pretty dark red, and so when I looked at it with the other page, I wanted it to be a little pinker. So I got some golden fluid acrylic, Guadalcanal magenta, and went over the red just to give it a little bit more of a pink tone. Here I'm mixing together the Hansa yellow and the Naphtalo red to add some little accents. I'm using a golden fluid acrylic zinc white instead of titanium white because it's a lot more transparent. And I just put in a couple of little highlights there. I'm working in the manganese blue, and I added a little bit of zinc white here and there to just give it some dimension, and I'm just covering the whole background with it. Next, I'm going to use a black and a white Posca pen just to add in some highlights and details in the mouth and in the eyes. I switched to the Uni Posca pen here, which is a little bit of a smaller tip. And I'm just going around and defining all of the edges again and adding in those small details. This tip is a little bit different than the other one. It seems to make a little bit smaller of a line, a little bit cleaner of a line. So that's why I switched to it. I'm also going to grab a pink Posca pen and add in some little dots into his arms and give him some pink cheeks. I want to give the background a little bit more of a graphic edge, so I'm using a StazOn black stamper and a patterned acrylic stamp here to just add some details to the background. It was a little bit tricky to go around the monster, but if you just use a piece of paper as a block for the stamp, you can do it. I didn't like that I couldn't get right up next to the edges, so I just used a blending stump with some of the StazOn to just kind of draw and smush in the edges to get a cleaner look. So here I'm looking at the two pages next to each other, and I don't like how blue the background is on the left. So I decided to add some ultramarine violet, and I mixed it with just a little bit of gesso because ultramarine violet is very transparent. I also added in some fluid acrylic glazing liquid just to make it not quite so thick. And I'm going through and just adding it to the background. A little bit heavier in some areas. You'll see that I've dabbed it up in some areas too, just to give it dimension. This really, I know it doesn't look in the video like it's doing much, but it gave that purplier hue to the blue so that it is more cohesive with the other page. I just used the same mixture here to add in some shadows. The ultramarine violet, because it's so transparent, is great for shadows. It is not super dark and you can get a really nice glaze to it. Here I'm using Mod Podge Dimensional Magic, and I'm going to just put a little bit on my palette, and then I'm using a calligraphy pen to draw in this glue to the words so that I can later put on some glitter and make it sparkle like the page next to it.